Ah, there we go. Okay. All looks good there. Yeah. Let these guys go ahead. They're all going wet within the first lap. Those. Really doing anything over there. No grip going over that crest. You guys alright up here? Always flip it right there. I got too far in. I'll probably do it and lap it too. You'll see what I mean. Question is, do I want to go ahead of this? No. Well, he kind of answered it for me. So. Okay. I wish I had a road buddy. The AI is only so good. Some tracks are far better than others, but track is AI. Hopefully all the AI will last a few laps before they totally just kill themselves and kill them. Oh, well, not until I kill myself. So slow. I'm probably just pissed with him for a while. Don't forget your blinker, pal. There we go. with the tree. The tree speaks truth. Again, this tree speak truth. Go AI, go. Okay, wait, what the fuck is playing? Oh, video games, dude. Let's get better video games. Transfer voltage. You know what? Actually, let's get through my glitches talk. So, I guess I'm not going. I don't really know how to debate this, but let's just talk about my life to where I'm at right now. So, 26 years old, years sober, no alcohol. It's fucking wonderful. Highly recommended. Yeah, so basically childhood was all fucked up. Can't really indulge too much about that. It was just not stable, alcohol, drug ridden. It wasn't a place for me to grow up with, and I feel bad for my sisters and my little brother that we all had to go through it. I had a couple unfortunate events that led me to get bullied and ridiculed about my appearance. Basically had a bike accident where I knocked my teeth out when I was 13. Never fully, I guess, mentally overcame that. Anyways, that don't matter. I partied a lot and drank a lot growing up to kind of, I guess, escape the reality of my childhood. It was the best thing for me to do. Granted, I should have been focusing myself more on school and stuff, but I was going so infrequently, it had little interest of me. I was applying my mind elsewhere, my time elsewhere, in sometimes unproductive and productive manners. But always smoked, and oh my god, the AI is just trash on this. Looks like it's just me and you, pal. But anyways, I always used and just did what was provided in front of me. And oh, I'm so sorry, pal. But any sort of substance that would alter my mind or way of thinking, I always accepted it without hesitation, because I would just want to escape, actually feel a little bit more than normal in my own skin. And I also want to feel like a sense of belonging in the crowd that I was in. Granted, I had a pretty small crowd, but within that crowd, I was like an outsider in my own skin. They accepted me who I was, but I could not accept myself for who I was because of me always wanting what they had. Like, they had a somewhat stable place to go to. They had, you know, like a single address to go to for more than 2 years at a time. They weren't worried about how to make up some money when they're 15 years old on how to put food on the table in that crappy hotel room that we were staying at multiple times over. It wasn't fun. Also, my mom was sick at the time, so I was helping her learn how to walk again. It's a whole story in of itself, how much I've done to help my mom. I won't take any of that back, you know. She's my only living parent. So I'm happy to be of what service I was. Granted, wasn't much back when I was that young and going into adulthood, how drunk I was. When I was about 18 or so we were homeless, my little brother, mom, and I, and dad. And my mom had been talking to some dickhead over in Illinois, and she wanted what he had, so she left, and she gave me a small ultimatum. I haven't really spoken too much of this, but she told me I had an option to go with her and my little brother and leave my dad behind. And I knew my dad had failing health at the time, like congestive heart failure and stuff. I had just turned 18 just a few months prior to this, and I felt like it was my responsibility to be with my dad, so I decided to stay back, and I ended up doing the right thing. Let's fast forward later on that year, October. I forgot exactly when she left. I was in such a numb state of mind and spirit. But from October 5th, 2015, my dad had a heart attack and died in front of me because of his congestive heart failure, his way of life. He dabbled in anything he could get his hands on, primarily alcohol, and there was quite a few times that I would ride my bike and go get him some crystal or whatnot, doing shit that, you know, 15, 16, that's a fucking kid should not be doing. A kid should not be getting his father fucking methamphetamine, hands down. Anyways, my dad died in front of me, and that really broke me. And broke me in a way that I never, I had a lot of animosity, anger, and resentment for my dad. He put my family through a lot of emotional pain, just financial suffering. A lot of stuff was his ego getting the best of him to where he could not hold a job because, like, the boss's punk son said some offhand comment that most people just brush off. My dad would get a whole fucking fit, and we'll end up losing the job, therefore losing the house or the apartment we were staying in, and then going homeless for a few months while my mom's disabled. I mean, I hope this is painting a good picture. Shit's fucked. So, like, when I would be done helping my mom and I would have free time because I was skipping so much school, I was always indulging in shit. But anyways, back to the story. We're in the hotel room, my dad and I. It was October 5th, 2015. And that whole night we were at the I forgot the exact name of it, down in Richmond, in Point Richmond specifically, the 580 or Richmond-San Rafael Bridge, coming to Richmond, there's this small hotel, or it's not small, it's rather large, but there's this hotel there. It's really not the best place to be. Motel is more preferable name for it. We were staying there. Fuck, I even remember the room. It was like room 410. It was on the side closest to the freeway. That doesn't matter. My dad was up all night, coughing, having heart murmurs, tightness in his chest and whatnot. And I kept telling him, you know, ended up getting super frustrated with him. I was just telling him, like, dude, you're fucking dying. We need to get you to the hospital, and you should have been taking the medication and the advice that the doctors has been giving you. My dad and I, we were butting heads, and I had been up, doing who knows what. I don't even remember what, but I had been up for a little over 24 hours at this point, and I couldn't sleep because he was on the other bed in the hotel room just coughing and up and wheezing, pacing back and forth, being real manic and desperate because he was super uncomfortable. He felt like he was dying at that point, which he was. And ooh, that was a cool save. So it was like around 5:30 in the morning, and I was so fucking tired I just ended up screaming at him, like, why don't you just fucking shut up and fucking die already? Man, I was getting all the resentment and all the anger out at him, but I mean, I guess I got my wish that night, because not even like 40 minutes after that, he asked me to help him to the bathroom, so I simply did. And he used the bathroom. He was so weak he couldn't even fucking pull up his pants. And if you knew my dad, he was like a short, stocky guy that was just like a fucking angry ass pit bull all the time. But he couldn't even fucking pull up his underwear. And so I helped him over to the car, and I told him I'll be right back and go and grab the keys. We'll go over to Kaiser and see what they say. We had been to the hospital so much in my whole life with him up to that point that it was very common just to go to the doctor and have him, you know, get the placebo effect of just sympathy from caregivers or whatnot. But I didn't understand the severity of it because I was so numb to all this shit. So when I sat him in the passenger seat, I went back to go get the keys to the car. I turned around, and then I literally just saw him fall back. And I thought for a split second that maybe he was just trying to get his legs in the car, but then his legs weren't moving. I thought, oh fuck, he just had a heart attack. Ran over and realized he did, and I panicked. I straight up panicked. And if you know anything about the area, like where I just started screaming help. I went hysterical. I was inconsolable. Took me all of 10 seconds to realize that I'm truly alone at this point, that no one's going to fucking help me in this situation. I need to do what I have to do to get my dad where he needs to be, and I know exactly where we are, how to get to the hospital and stuff. I don't have a license at this point. Car doesn't have insurance or proper tags. It's not even in my dad's name. So my scrawny, like 6-foot self managed to pull my 260 pound dad upright in the seat, put the seatbelt on him. I slammed the door shut to the hotel room, and then got in the car and off we left. I put the fucking seatbelt on him too, because I knew that, you know, it's just common sense. So I took him to the hospital, and I pulled up in the ER medical bay, and like I remember like bringing the car to a rather sudden stop, and my dad's lifeless body just jolted forward in the seat. He would have hit the dash if I did not put the seatbelt on him. And like, it was right there. I truly knew he was gone. The whole time I was driving him to the hospital, which was it probably says 7 minutes on Google Maps, but I probably got there less than 4. There was not a single red light that did not say green to me. And honestly, if we would have got hit, which we almost did, and if I died with him, so be it, you know. I died doing what I had to do at that point, but I guess a higher power had something better in tow for me. Got into the hospital, and there were some paramedics sitting in their ambulance, just probably chilling on their break from night shift, and then here comes me and my dad right there in front of them, and I'm hysterical, I'm crying, I'm just like, help, help, my dad, he's dead. And they get out, and I just point to the car, and then I just collapse. I collapsed in front of one of the ambulances, and I just started crying. And they end up pulling my dad out of the, like, I have direct view of everything, of all this happening. So, like, 4 paramedics, EMTs, they start doing chest compressions on him in the car. One of them or 2 of them pull out the stretcher from one of the ambulances. They get him on the stretcher, and then there's like this, there was this like really beautiful blonde paramedic, probably around my age now. She had a full right arm sleeve tattoo, and any other case, like, with no regard, she's still beautiful to this day for what she did. But she was on top of my dad, giving full-on chest compressions all the way into the ER room. And then some guys, some of the EMTs pulled me aside, or they kneeled down with me, and they were just explaining to me that everything's going to be okay, but I knew it wasn't. Like, prior to getting my dad upright in the seat, I put my ear up to his chest where his heart is, and also checked for a pulse on his neck, and there was nothing. Just his dead eyes looking up at the roof of that car. I knew he was gone. So the EMTs are doing their thing. The doctors are doing theirs. I'm in the waiting room. I'm calling up a whole bunch of people. I let a few of my, like, one of my closest friends know. I let my granddad know, I let my mom know, and, like 7 o'clock that morning, I was told my dad's brain dead, and he had to go through the same thing with his parents, because his parents were alcoholics, and they had multiple strokes, and he had to pull the plug on them once they became unresponsive. What my dad did, it just prolonged the inevitable with them, and he was kind of doing it with himself. But I remember, like, years prior, my dad was saying that if I ever get on a breathing tube and stuff like that, full ventilator, brain dead, vegetable state, that he just wants the plug pulled. And so I did that for him. I think it was about 7:14 a.m. October 5th, 2015. That I just signed paperwork to take my dad off life support and everything. My granddad was there at the time. My granddad on my mom's side. He came in and told me that, hey, I can stay with him. And so I got back in that car, still with, you know, everything said prior. The car is super illegal. We went back to the hotel room. Oh wait, forgot to mention something. Said my final goodbyes to my dad, and from there, from that day, from that moment when I walked out that room, I still don't truly know where my dad's remains are. The only thing I have of him is just his driver's license at the time and his death certificate. anyways, I go back to my granddad's house, and on the way there, I almost get T-boned by a car that ran a stop sign. I don't know, something told me, like, just in this area, just go a little bit slow, there's no rush. And sure enough, I was just going through a regular ass intersection I've been through 1,000 times before. And then this fucking matte gray Crown Vic just blew right through the intersection, and would have hit me on my side, would have probably killed me. So, you know, like that day, my mom and my little brother could have lost both their dad and her husband, and they could have lost me too. So that's something I've really kept to myself until now. Made to my granddad's fine, and I had all the material possessions of everything stuffed in this like mid-90s Toyota Camry. Everything that we had owned up to that point. We had lost everything. Multiple storage units. Talk about minimalistic living. Yeah. A family of 4 living entirely out of a 90s Camry. That's minimalistic. But now just a single man. Just me. My mom and my little brother are in Illinois. My dad just died, and I have all this stuff in this car, and in my dad's wallet I had this thing about $1,500 to about $1,700 cash, and I had also just received a large sum of money too, and I went on a spur and just drank and used, built a very cool motorcycle outfit, but the whole time I was just suffering. It was very brutal. Oh, there was somebody in here. I'm sorry about that trauma, Dad. This is not my share out, brother. And anyways, from there, I just started drinking and using on a regular basis. Got some nice jobs, met a few beautiful women, and also from my usage at the time, destroyed those relationships with those women. I had a nice, good job at Amazon, and kind of missed the company, even though they treated me wrong. Almost dead. Let's keep going. And so I was making good money for a single guy, and my granddad was trying to help me procrastinate. Like, I can't even say procrastinate, because all he did was just give me open-ended promises that never amounted to anything. I needed help getting a driver's license and GED. My granddad never helped me in that, and I had no funds and no transportation. I needed some like base necessities that I've been living without, and I just knew he could have helped me, and I could have helped him back. Anyways, that's not the point of any of this. So I was kind of stuck in this repetitive cycle of just exhaustion, mental fatigue, and just a lot of anger and built resentment from past actions that were outside of my control, and actions that were a direct result of my decisions, my actions, everything. I pay a huge part in a lot of this, but certain things were outside of my control, and I primarily pinpointed focus on stuff that were outside of my control as the root of all my causes. So I would say about like 19 or 20 at this time, and I had already been at the point of my drinking where I would have to chase the hair of the dog in the morning. Wow, that guy actually made it. That's beautiful. Good for him. I had already been at the point where I was drinking on such a regular basis that I had been accustomed to it. I was regularly downing a few 40s of Old English or Steel Reserve, some high proof malt liquor on regular, I was always kind of like Edward 40 Hands, basically. Always getting turned up. And always smoking too. But I would kind of like phase in and out smoking pot. I always gravitated for liquor. Liquor always filled that void that nothing else would. Um, Anyways, from there, I was just always drinking. It was pure insanity. By the time I was 21, like, I had been drinking to such an extent that it was like I'm a 26-year-old frat boy, like, going in for the end goal. Like, liquor is not being sold after today. Get your fix. That was me. I was just in a liquor store at 6 a.m. just getting a fucking beer, get the day started. And then, like, by noon, I was already kind of fucking burning up. But if I had work, I would always slam a few beers before work. It was crazy. Always riding a bike to and from, like, work, anywhere, peddling drugs, going to parties, going to hangouts and stuff. I was always on the bike and always fucking intoxicated. Um, so at a certain point, I had really burnt all the bridges I had at this point. I was about 24 at this time, 23, 24. I would just sit there, binge drink in my filthy ass room, play video games, and do nothing but hold resentment towards everyone else except for myself. Um, it was not healthy in the slightest. It was quite pathetic, quite sad. But I had lost my job at this point, lost a very beautiful relationship, uh, lost all my friends. No one would talk to me except for a few tweakers I would just be doing yard work with around the Esperanto area. And I was making like maybe a few $100s a day, but I'll blow it all on just alcohol. And that few hundred I'll make would just be gone that same day. And if I'm lucky, I'll go on like a 2 or 3 day bender from that, and drag myself in to do some more landscaping while drunk, and then just rinse and repeat that cycle for a few months. Not eating, not drinking water, just setting myself up for ultimate failure. And this had been a repetitive cycle for about a year and a half now. At this time, I was doing some methamphetamine, doing coke, doing what was offered. The only thing I wouldn't do was stick a needle in me. Um, was totally not doing right. I was blacking out left, right, and center. There was not like my memories from that time frame. It's just segmented, fragmented pieces of multiple days that I would have to piece together to sum up the events of one day. But each day would bleed into another. That's how repetitive and depraved that lifestyle was. Um, Somewhere along this point, I had my first withdrawal seizure. It, I'm not sure how it happened, but I woke up in a different part of my room from where I went to sleep, and I had all the tales of a seizure, and um, it didn't really faze me. I went out the next morning, scraped up a few dollars, and got myself another beer to stop the terrible shaking in my hands. It would finally make the cold sweats go away, and I was able to fix myself up to make about 50, maybe $100, so I can go and get some actual liquor or alcohol and make myself feel right. And that was like my cycle from there until the second and third seizure and like the fourth or fifth hospital stay. Come July of 2022, I had gotten a call from my sister, and she just wanted me to come up to her house and stay 2 weeks or whatnot. And I'm skeptical of everyone at this point. I'm like, I was just hurt, confused, and fucking broken. Totally broken at the bottom of the barrel, scraping it and collecting every speck of dust to see if I can dig my bottom any further. Hell, if I had some explosives, I'd probably put some explosives down my rock bottom to see if there's anything below it, because I sure as hell was trying. So I ended up going up with my sister, and like my whole mentality was, where can I get my next drink? Hell, I drinking a beer on the way up there and chain smoking. I was just a total mess. I was not her little brother that she grew up with. I was just a full-on drunk, a pathetic fucking drunk. And once we got up here, I realized that there's a liquor store like right across the street, and I was just like, holy shit, that's so good. But my sister, she had got me some beers and stuff, but she would limit my alcohol, and that's where, like, I knew this shit was gonna be fucked. To put in perspective, she thought a 6-pack can hold me throughout a day. A 6-pack of natural ice or Miller Lite. I forgot exactly what it was. But I knew deep down that I can drink that whole fucking 6-pack in one sitting, and I would still be jittery, shaky, and damn near convulsing. From there, I was just like, fuck me, this is not gonna be good. I made it 3 days before having my last seizure. I remember that morning I had slammed 3 of those warm fucking beers, threw up one, managed to hold down the other 2. We went to Walmart, and the shakes, the convulsions, the heart murmurs, the difficulty breathing, all that was prevalent. And I was just like, you know what, I just need to get this shit done. Yeah, let's go to Walmart. I was being as polite as I could, but I was just so fucking done. I needed more alcohol. Because at a certain point, your body literally starts running off alcohol and looks at it as a fuel source. And also, it's a nervous suppressant. Your body becomes literally hardwired to it. And if you take I did not really know this till after I got sober, but an alcoholic just cannot stop drinking or dramatically cut their drinking. They'll do what I do and have seizures and whatnot and die. And I had not known this. During this time, like the previous hospital stays and stuff, they had prescribed me medications to wean myself off alcohol. I was doing those medications while drinking and stuff. And that probably most likely led into the multiple seizures. Who knows? I was doing a lot of stuff. Anyways, the point being, I was in the hospital with my sister, and she had told me what happened. And I knew that, like, fuck, I really do need change, but I don't know how to. And so I got prescribed some more medication, but I had found some of my sister's alcohol too, so I was drinking that. I was stealing her stuff while taking medications. My sister told me it was basically a suicide attempt, and I was too intoxicated to do whatever. they were worried they were going to call the paramedics and stuff on me. It was utter insanity. I felt like I was fine. It just shows how dissociated and manic chronic alcoholism can make you. From there, I had realized that, yeah, I really do have a problem. And it was not the first time I truly realized it. It was the first time I truly said it out loud and accepted it, because there were so many times that I was outside the liquor store, shaking, trembling, and just wanting the shakes to stop. And I was listening and watching to a lot of like intervention and soft white underbelly at this time. If you're familiar with those channels, you do know what I'm talking about. So I kind of knew what was happening to me, but since I was very ignorant of the fact and just wanted to truly fizzle out and die, I was full-heartedly acceptant of the fact that, cool, hopefully this seizure will be my last. I was dreading to wake up every fucking morning. I didn't want to be here. I never felt worthy to amount of anything. I never understood why people looked up to me or sought for me for advice. Because every time I spoke up in crowds or around my friends and stuff, like, my words were always, they always fallen on deaf ears until it really amounted to something. And then people were like, oh, why didn't you speak up earlier? It's like those feelings of dissociation and loneliness, despite being around people, is the reason why I drank. It's fucking horrible. Anyways, where was I? So, I had come to terms that I needed help, and like, my sister taught me drinking and whatnot. I admit that I needed help outside of my ultimate control. My sister led me to just a nice place, a nice program that helped me find what this program did was allow me to come to terms with living a sober life and the acceptance of things, the wreckage of my past that I cannot change. The only thing I can do is make direct amends to those whenever possible, except when to do so would hurt those or others. Aid others in the same illness that I suffer from. And also just keep this message alive that despite how lonely you may feel or how inadequate you are compared to others from your own perspective, that substance abuse and mental degradation to the extent of suicide and just total insanity, like chronic alcoholism or drug addiction, is not the answer. That there is a different way to view your life. I'm a year and almost 1 month sober now. I'm so sorry about that, sir. Anyways, as a result of the steps and the spiritual awakening, per se, that I have experienced, along with keeping in close contact with this fellowship that I'm part of, I'm able to actually fulfill a life that's outside my wildest dreams. I never thought in this year and 1 month that I was able to go back and do my GED with college credits, get a driver's license, buy a fucking car, and have a job. You know, like, everything that I never had, like, a consistent house to live in and a stable environment that I can actually return to without a lot of rioting and just other insanity. I'm actually at peace. I have responsibilities and services that I commit to on a weekly and daily basis to where I'm held accountable, where I have a words can't really put perspective on this. The best way I can say it of this is a spiritual awakening of inner self from perspective changes and realization that others have what I have, and also others seek to have what I already have, which is a clarity and peace of mind and serenity of a higher power of one's understanding. Peace that I can not return to the bottle, I can stand away from drinking, live a happy, normal, productive life. But most importantly, keep my message so that, like, if there's another person that suffers from the bottle or substance abuse, they can possibly hear my message and just seek some light, some hope from this. I'm far from perfect now, and I am not looking for a relationship. I'm open to one, but I know a huge character flaw is how I communicate myself and contribute myself into a relationship, and that's why I've abstained from dating for a while now. I'm able to focus on myself, my recovery, been able to get my shit together, and actually know what I want and who I am. That's really important. I'm also, like, I have a sense of responsibility outside of my own understanding, and people look to me that from other viewpoints that I'd never seen myself. It's crazy. I don't really know how to put too much more perspective on it, but it is a huge undermining that I've been in such a dark place to where I'm at now. I just hope that my words and everything I say and do now can actually live to help others. It's really beneficial for me. I haven't really talked about this on a video format, that's why this is not the best presentation for this. I do have ambitions to, damn, that was unfortunate. I do have ambitions to make a proper recording of this, to where people can actually watch it, see me, and it'll be all spliced up with some nice background music, but, until then, this is really what a recap of my life has been like. Yeah, I've kind of hyper-fixated on certain aspects, but I felt like those were important. Those were important to me. It's just to give perspective to whoever is listening to this. Everyone has a story, and so do I. I just said mine. I choose to get nitty-gritty with those details is because it's to let people actually get perspective. Perspective is a huge thing I have. I'm trying to learn how to understand. I feel like I'm getting better at it day by day, but still, it's hard to. It's just incredible that I was able. I should not be taking that line. That line is no good. I just think it's really beautiful that I've been given this second chance, that I've been taken so seriously to keep myself sober, keep myself as I don't know the correct words for this, a good example of what can happen when accountability for your actions and wanting to change for the better goes with hard work and determination. It has not been easy to do this. There has been many days, without doubt, that I've been wanting a drink. Wanting a drink so badly to where I'm getting to the point of self-harm, whatnot, to each their own. But I have new tools and new resources to help me cope with that. Anyways, it's been great to really get this off my chest. I really cannot wait to get the proper video of this up. This is kind of like a little teaser, I guess. It's about an hour long, so it could kind of be like a soft light underbelly episode. I don't know. Really want to get a good camera, and most importantly, a decent microphone. I should probably look at prices sometimes. Yeah. But anyways, to sum up what I'm saying, alcoholism can affect many people. It does not really discriminate who you are, what you do, your background. It can affect us all. If a relative or loved one says you're growing pale, are you going to look back and look? I've noticed this is a disease of slow progression. Slow and constant progression. It'll vice down on you, and then like you're a slave to a bottle before you know it. It's very sad. Some people have a very good grip on it. My hats are off to you. Some people, like myself, however, are allergic to it. We get that for some reason our brains are wired to get hooked on it, at least mine per se, and it becomes impulsive. One drink is never enough to me. One drink is just getting the party going, but then again, it's not the 8th drink that gets me drunk, it's that first drink. Just as if it's not the 8th train in the car that kills you, it's the first car in the train. Oh. Anyways, that's all I have. Thank you.